This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way. Now who wanted the banana cone? 2 scoops. Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today let's take a little look at the Bandai S.H Figuarts Star Wars The Mandalorian Armorer. It's crazy to think, and correct me if I'm wrong because I tend to forget stuff. It's crazy to think that this is the last Bandai S.H Figuarts Star Wars figure that we have on pre-order at the moment that has been solicited. We've seen lots and lots of prototypes that they haven't put up for pre-order, almost as many as they've actually released. That's probably an exaggeration. I'm probably like, oh, there's so much stuff, give it to me. It's just weird the way things have dropped off on their end. Looking at the package, it's what we're used to with this line. Very little packaging, it seems lots of toy. Big window showing you most, well, pretty much everything you get. The gold font on the windows, and then this copperish gold look because it's the Mandalorian. They do different colors for different trilogies or shows. Soul Web exclusive. On the side, pretty promotional shot, Star Wars Mandalorian, more logos, more stuff. On the back, more promo pics showing you what you get, what it comes with, warnings, don't put them in your mouth. On the other side, just that same color motif. On the top, more of the same, just in a different order on bottom. UPC, logos, your winning lottery number, but let's get this open. See what's going on here. I was looking for the seam on bottom and forgot these are on the side. Oh, look at that. Little bitty diorama background cardboard piece. Put tools in hand. Kimtono goes in hand, or Kimtono, or whatever it's called. The open one, Beskar goes in, Beskar goes in hand, separating for the different parts. More Beskar than I thought. And there's also this, little piece of, well, that comes out way easier than I thought it would. Getting it out of the package, messing around with it, getting a feel for the figure. I do like it, but I'm not gonna lie to you. There is some frustration involved here. And that seems to be the common thing lately when it comes to S.H Figuarts. But you know I'll get to that. Looking at the figure itself, the sculpt, they pretty much nailed this character. The cross pattern on the shoulder pads, on the gloves, it's subtle, but you can see it there. It gives you a feeling of, pot holder, like she deals with heat all the time, which she does. She's a blacksmith, and that makes sense. The leather layer look to the lower tunic, it just comes across perfectly. The suit under, which almost seems like there's a suit, then there's a sleeve over that, probably more heat protection, and that runs down to the legs. You can see the seams on the sides. Very nice wrinkles. Again, I have no complaints about the sculpt. The boots have kind of a different look than what we're used to when it comes to Mandalorians. It's kind of baggy, kind of hanging loose. Strap holding that up at the top, and then it comes and kind of just overlays a regular looking boot under there. Some gadgets and gizmos on the belt, nicely sculpted on there, and then on the back it's just more leather. There's also extra detail here on the back. But then we get to the chest piece, and that's where we get that Mandalorian feel to it. It's got that same little design in the middle. But what really seals the deal is the helmet design. I mean, unmistakably Mandalorian. She's got the horn sticking off on top, the nice little intricate details on the sides for the ears, the unique shape to the visor. It almost has more of a medieval feel than the standard Mandalorian helmets. The base colors of the plastic really works for this, but the lack of paint, something else we've been seeing a lot in the S.H Figuarts line, I think that makes it a little less detailed. The chest armor is almost duller than what we saw in the promotional images. It doesn't have the sparkles, but that actually makes it slightly more accurate to what we saw in the show. If you get the light just right, you can see some dirty swirls to it. In regular light, it's hard to see. Just a weird effect that I didn't catch at first. But a paint wash in this crosshatch pattern here and here, would have done so much to set it off. This also seems a little off color-wise from the prototype. I love how they punched in the paint apps for the silver and gold on the belt though. Especially this tire pressure gauge. It's just a nice little detail. It stands out, especially whenever it's a bit plain in other places. But then this almost maroon color is very nicely done. Everything blends together, but it also stands out. I like the overall look, but it has that S.H Figuarts kind of unfinished look. And before you comment, the right arm looks longer than the left. There is a shift up, and I've had it down, I guess. But that kind of goes into one of my biggest gripes, and you've heard this before. It seems to be over-engineered. Because of a feature that I do not care for at all, the belt just floats in between the articulations. So as you're moving it, it moves with the torso, but there's so much. There's another piece under there. See how it kind of kicked forward and there? I'm a little rough, but get back over there. Instead of doing the usual inner cover, they've integrated everything together, and it gets in the way of the shoulder a bit. But they compensated with a bicep swivel, so not too terrible. And then the skirt piece is also an accessory that comes off if you get too rowdy with it. But again, that is a feature that requires another accessory that we'll go over. Plenty of articulation though. There is a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck with a ball joint down going into the body. So all that together can look up and look down. So much tilt. Swivel. Looking up in there, it seems like there is a dumbbell joint coming out to the shoulder with that shoulder pad cap in between. You can shift up, you can shift way down further than the shoulder pad can follow. Gives you some forward, gives you some back. On the outside of that is a hinge on the end. Rotates all the way around, but you got to watch that. Again, that thing, get over there. Swivel at the bicep, at that sleeve. Double elbow, but only gets slightly past 90. The glove top just runs into the bicep. The tried and true S.H. Figuarts swivel hinge swivel. You can swivel on both sides of the hinge, so you bring it here, you can turn it, just put it in. Get back on there. You can just put it in any direction you want. In the torso, it is meant to do this. There's a ball joint mounted there that goes into that socket, and then there is a dumbbell joint below that. So with all that, can crunch forward, belt gets in the way, can arc back, tilt, and that rotates. So tight. Legs are on a drop down joint, come forward, and while this isn't the softest material, it does get out of the way. Back, out, ooh, gives Spider-Man a run for his money. There is some rotation at the hip. When you first look at the leg, you think, oh, it's a single knee, and it only comes to right here. That's because there is a drop down to the lower leg that is kind of scary the first time you do it. There's a nice lock to it, but you pull and it exposes another joint. And with that, all the way up. Beep, 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 beep. And again, that works into a feature. We'll look at it here in a second. Push it back into position. And if it feels floppy, push harder because there's another snap to it. Dumbbell joint at the ankle allows you to shift forward and back, but goes back not that great. Forward about there. Gives you some nice tilt back and forth though. And you can rotate the whole foot at the bottom. Toe joint goes to about right there. For accessories, the Armorer comes with 2 fists, comes with 2 relaxed hands, comes with 2 grip hands that are for only one weapon, because she comes with another pair of grip hands for the other weapon. And then comes with 2 what I thought were trigger fingers at first, even though she doesn't come with a gun, but they're actually to hold the Beskar. Like I already showed, the fists that came on it in the package are pretty easy to pop off. But some of the alternate hands are tight as hell to get on there. Well, okay, make me a liar. That popped right on. And like I showed, comes with a little Beskar ingot and then a stack of those too. Does have the Imperial logo on it, but it doesn't have the swirly twirlies that we saw on it in the show. And to hold it, you would think thumb, forefinger, but it doesn't actually pinch in there. You got to kind of shove it into a position until it actually holds. And what good is Beskar if you don't have a little safe thing to hold it? And this is a case of Bandai actually not over-engineering it. They gave us one that was closed up. It looks cool. It has all the details. A little clean. Again, missing that grittiness from the show, but completely acceptable. I like this thing. But instead of making these hinged and opening, they just gave us another one. Painted the inside orange to simulate that light, and here you go. You just take the stack of Beskar, sits in there, it doesn't lock or anything. In my brain, every time I put that in there, I want to close these up, but that's how it goes. The set even comes with an alternate hand for the S.H. Figuarts Mandalorian. 1, it is tight as hell to get on that ball joint, and 2, it doesn't really lock into this. You just kind of shove the fingers into the hole on top, but he holds it, so I can't complain too much. And then there's the weapons for the weapon holding hands. There's the hammer, and then there's the tongs. Just cast in that silver color that has a nice sheen to it, but no wash. And there is just a slight difference to the 2 grip hands, barely different. The hammer holding hand is angled out a bit. The tong holding hand, not as much. And even then, the hammer can be kind of a bear to get in there. The tongs, they slip right in. Then we get to the clothing options. There's the fur that was hanging off her back, kind of over her shoulders. 2 pegs, 2 holes in the back. Now, when I first got this out of the package, and I went to move it, and it would just fall off. But if you plug it in and push and lift from the bottom while pushing in, almost at an angle, it seems to lock itself on very, very tight. There's also this lower tunic part that obviously you can put her down into a kneeled or sitting position. 2 halves, you know where we're going here. The instructions say to pop the torso off, which is a tight damn pop. But then there's this cap piece on top of the dumbbell joint, and I don't want to pull that off. But if you don't want to go through all that, just lean back and pull the skirt piece off. On mine, the front was a bit loose. The back locks on tight as hell. You can see that I'm peeling the glue off the plug piece. So we'll get in there with a flat head and pry that off. We're gonna put her in a sitting position, blindly try to plug this in. Crazy enough though, they made this the softest, the thinnest rubbery piece out of all 4 of these. So with that, you can kind of lift it up, look for those 2 peg holes, plug it in. Pushing the belt back down over it does help hold it, so you bring the torso forward. Pull on that lower leg, it gives you all the rest of the range. I can't quite get her to sit all the way down or kneel all the way down. It does look pretty good from the front, especially if there's a table of some kind in front of it and the Camtono on top. But to get that pose, there's a lot to go through, and I don't see myself ever using this. The Armorer stands at 5 3/4 up to the top of the helmet, which is essentially the same height as the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series version, but you can see that the shoulders are a bit broader. Even though it's covered, you almost feel like there's more muscle to this one. She scales very well with the Bandai S.H Figuarts version 1 Mandalorian and Heavy Mandalorian though, which is about the same size as the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian and Heavy Mandalorian. And then there's the new Hasbro Stormtrooper and, well, the newest Bandai Stormtrooper. So at the end of the day, some weird decisions, a bit of frustration, but it's still a good entry in the S.H Figuarts Star Wars line. Yes, it needs more paint apps and less engineering, but as far as putting an Armorer on the shelf, everything about this looks good. She can do all the poses you want her to do, and she just looks badass, standing there or in action. But there are some negatives, which may make the price of this, it being an exclusive, and you have to go through third-party sellers and such, it may not make it worth it. If you're just wanting an Armorer for the shelf, go grab the Black Series. But if you're a diehard S.H Figuarts fan and you haven't gotten pissed off at this point in the video, yeah, go out of your way, grab this, put it with the S.H Figuarts Mando, or well, both versions, the IG-11, the Child, and yeah, you have a nice little Mando display. What it boils down to in my head is the Black Series is perfectly displayable. This is a little extra oomph, but you have to work to get that oomph. If you enjoyed the review, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus if you're interested in seeing videos early or just in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Fwoosh. Honestly, when I started the actual review part, I wasn't that happy with this, but as I went through the review, almost explaining everything to myself, like the drop-down legs and how to pop this off and go through here and alternate ways of doing it, it made me appreciate it more. And there ain't nothing wrong with that.